Good night, Trinidad and Tobago. It is May the 3rd. It's my birth month as well, so celebrate with me. I'm celebrating every single day until the end of May. Tonight we have with us the lovely Chantal Maundy. Maundy. You see, I did what Tony usually does. He pronounces the name, practices it, and then on air says the exact same thing that he promised not to do. So we have Chantal Maundy with us. Those of you who would have seen her on the live this week would have seen that Chantal went viral. You had over 40,000 views as of today.
Oh my God.
And just before I came, I was watching the show myself, and it was such a touching. Not your show, sorry, I was watching the live. It was such a touching and empowering live that, we had to have Chantal back with us. And I thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Today was also SCA, and to all our peppers with kids, all the other children of TNT. Yes, we called it the abusive SCA, but congratulations, you made it. You completed the SCA, and I remember when I was the last year to do common entrance. I remember looking forward to the next two or 3 months. I think you usually get to do nothing. So enjoy that. It's going to be the best. And again, congratulations.
Congratulations.
On today. Yes. So we're going to dive right in, Chantal.
Okay.
Like I said, this week we all watched you, we heard you, we felt everything that you felt. I remember, and I was explaining this to you earlier, I usually don't get to watch the live videos during the week. Monday was my off day, and I saw the live pop up, and I was trying to understand, where is this filming from? And when I realized, I got, like everybody else, caught up in it, and I watched the numbers climb, and I watched as you related what was such a heartfelt story, and I felt so connected to you at that point. I mean, I'm not a business owner, I'm not going through what you are going through, but the way that you brought it across, I think, like I said, you really reached out to a demographic that we don't hear much from.
I think that there's a little bit of a stigma attached to it, in the sense of, if you ask a business owner, when even I ask business owners in Long Circle and Mall, so how are you doing? First inclination is to say, oh great, sales are great. Mm-hmm. We somehow don't want to say, well, we're catching our tail, things are hard, until the currency issue comes up.
Yeah.
But things are very, very, very difficult for small business owners. It's a world apart from the conglomerates. And as I said in the video, I am very angry about it. Mm-hmm. It didn't help that Philip came and stuck a phone in my face and said, do an interview.
Well, that was my next question for you. What led you to do this live?
I don't think I had a choice at all. Not at all. He was in the mall. I was there with a client, and he said, gosh, you'll do an interview? I said, God, Philip, I have no makeup,
Yeah.
Sticks the camera, and next thing I know, we're live.
He has a way of getting you to do these things that you didn't plan to do, but then you end up making an impact, like me doing this Frontline show. Thank you very much for Philip. So it was impromptu. But I mean, it came across so powerfully as well. What prompted you to be so open about the situation?
By nature, I'm an extremely open person. If you ask me something, I'm going to answer you. I don't understand or see the sense in making up a set of nonsense that I'm not going to remember 10 minutes later that I said. It's been difficult in the sense of, you had asked me off air a little bit about my history. My history is that my mom is Italian, and my mother arrived here at the same time with Francesca Hawkins, who's in the media, Francesca Hawkins' mother, and she and my mother decided to do a high-end European boutique. Francesca's mom was Hungarian. And we opened in 1962. So we were the first boutique, the first high fashion, the first of its kind in the Caribbean. And it's a hard pill to swallow. If I had failed, because this has been my baby for 38 of those years.
Yeah.
If I had failed due to my own negligence, it's different.
Yeah.
You go in a corner, you cry, and then, you close the boutique, and then you pick up yourself and you try to find another, your second half of life. But I feel very strongly that I was forced into this. And I know many, many other owners closing their doors. And I don't think that this government understands small businesses is what carries economies. If you listen to any governments in any part of the world, they are trying to make the small businessman strive, because that is what empowers a nation. But we seem to think absolutely the other way around, and I don't get it, and I resent it. I resent the banks. I resent the millions squandered. It's wrong. It's just absolutely wrong. It's wrong to turn around and tell me, in my prime, that, you know what, you have no business again. Go figure something else to do. Resent it.
At what point did you realize that this would have had to been an option for you?
I knew it in my heart of hearts when the currency problem started. When we started to get jammed with the lack of foreign currency, in my case, I didn't study it much because I don't deal in US. I deal strictly in Euro. We import strictly from Europe. And then I figured, okay, I'm smarter than them. I would just jam my credit cards.
Yeah.
And then they got smart, and now they stop you with that. They tell you how much
There's a limit now, right?
There's a limit how much you can use. I was talking to a business owner this morning, and she's on her way to her trip, and they stopped her card, which happened to me as well. And I knew I hadn't reached my balance.
Yeah.
And I said, what do you mean my card is stopped? And they said, oh no, you've reached your balance for the month. I mean, that's insanity. I don't understand if people know that that is the beginning of falling apart.
Yeah.
When you start doing that to business people, and especially when it's so unfair, the system used. Actually not unfair, because I don't know what the system is. I don't know what the system is. You walk into the bank and you get 10,000 US. I walk into the bank, they tell me 100 US. How does that work? Who's determining that?
Well, funny you say that. I was telling you this software that I'm traveling next week. Went to the bank yesterday. One Woodbrook for citizens was minutes to 5. They close at 5. And I just thought I'd try my luck. Hi, can I have 100 US? Sorry, you have to be here by a certain time in order to get US. So what does that mean? So if you have to apply for business day to ensure that you're in the bank by 10 o'clock, if that's the limit, to get US just to go on, and you have to give them your travel dates.
You have to
and all
show
of these
them.
things that you hear about, and until you have to go through the frustration of actually getting the currency, you realize just how much of a failure this system is. And like you said, what system is it? Because if you know somebody, you can get. If you don't,
I heard at I saw there was a businessman's meeting that was televised, and I saw it on the news, and one man stood up very angry, and he said, it's ridiculous. How do you expect me to operate my business with 3 million US a month? And I thought to myself, well, how do you get 3 million US a month? And nobody seems to be answering these questions. How is it that Mario Sabga boasts about opening a restaurant a month? How does he get this money to do this? And you want to turn around and tell me that I've been in a small business above board doing everything that I'm supposed to do for 38 years, and yet I have to close down because I have no access, because I don't know the right people, or because I have to sell my soul. Someone after after Philip's interview the other day, someone came in to my boutique and said, sometimes I have to monitor myself. He says that he was being, shaken down by someone in a high Howard police. I said, why? And he says, because they found out how he gets US. Now everybody knows that there's a black market.
Yeah.
Everybody knows there's a black market. And I spoke about it openly. Got criticized for it heavily, because I said the black market price was between 7, 10, and 8. That is what small retailers are paying. I don't know what the big people are paying and the big boys are paying. Also, what we can afford to pay Because remember, we have to sell these goods.
Yeah.
We can't afford to go to 9 and 10 as some people indicated. The people who are going to 9 and 10 are cleaning money. Take me to court, I'm telling you that's what it is. All right? When you start paying 9 and 10 on a black market price where theoretically you can get away with 758, there's some bobble you're involved in.
Yeah.
And you need the US to buy whatever you need to buy. So, easy on the people who came down on me for the figures. It just depends on what you're doing. I know the retailers are paying between 710 and 750. They can't go higher.
Mm-hmm.
And people are waiting at you at the airport. People are waiting for family members to come in. People are paying people's bills away to be able to get the US when they come.
Yeah.
What is central bank doing about it? There's not been an explanation from central bank. Why are we having this shortage? They keep on saying we don't have any, but the banks keep on saying that we have problems.
But it's obvious that the people, like the middle class, like you and me, who want to travel, you who need to buy things, services, we're the ones being affected. Because you said it. Malls and cinemas, they're going up by the dozen, and you're seeing it happening, and you're wondering where these people.
So it means the foreign currency exists. Everywhere you look, there's construction going on.
Yes.
Everywhere you look, we have a new franchise. So you cannot tell me the money is not there. What you need to tell me is the money is there for the chosen few.
Mm-hmm.
And who are the chosen few, and how do I become a chosen few? Because no matter what business I decide to go into, I'm still going to encounter the same problems. And you get to a point like me where you just get angry. I want answers. I came under some heavy criticism from some people on the PEP page with the interview, and I read absolutely every comment. A lot of people don't understand the daily problems that small businesses have with the interview, and I read it. What's that?
No, sorry, that was the interview coming across.
I'm sorry. They don't understand the daily tribulations that we have as far as small business is concerned.
Yeah.
Because we're dealing with the lack of currency, we're dealing with customs that is just another show on its own, And then in my case, my biggest decision to close down came when I realized that Long Circular Mall has no intention, has no money, and no desire to do anything about the mall. Any renovation. So, just wasn't for me.
And when I visited as well, I was there this week, actually, and I noticed that there were a lot, what you were saying is correct, there are lots of empty stores that you're not seeing anything happening with. It's been like that for a while, and you wonder what is going to be the plan. Is it going to be occupied?
No one knows. No one knows. No one wants to tell us anything. We understand that we are a bankrupt mall. We don't have the money to fix it. I had an episode at Christmas time where we looked so dilapidated, it angered me, because what happens is people walk into a mall and they go to do what they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look at the environment as we do. And if you looked at the doors were all chipped. The paint is falling off. It's red paint looking disastrous. Several letters from the Long Circular Mall were all off. And I went to the office and I said, look, paint these doors because it is offensive to me now.
Yeah.
I understand that I have a contract with you to pay you rent, but you have a contract with me to keep these premises to a decent standard that will bring in decent people. And it was a showdown.
Well, to say that it says a lot. I remember when I would go into Long Circular Mall, Christmas time was one of the times that you look forward to going to the mall to see the decorations that they do, and to say that they haven't even been doing that, it's very telling of how.
Because it's nobody Trinidad is a place where everybody wants to talk and no one wants to listen to the other person.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a solution, but has no way of implementing that solution, and then everybody wants to reinvent the wheel. And it gets back to the nation and the state of the nation. That can't happen.
Yeah.
That can't happen. I was horrified to see on the TV6 Facebook page Someone asked a question about is it time for Kamala to come back in? The racist remarks is something that I think every Trinidadian ought to be ashamed of. I am appalled. I am all for freedom of speech, but I am appalled that something like that could be on Facebook, because it shows me, or it makes me feel, that we are a lost cause.
It does, and I know the group that you're speaking of, and when I go there, I leave there feeling dirty, honestly, because people are not even arguing on sense; they're literally arguing race
and nonsense with the race. Nonsense with the race. Stereotyping. One comment that stands out was, if we Indian people left, there'll only be ugly people and stupid people. I mean, why even comment on something so stupid? That's why I admire Pepper, because I admire what you guys are doing. It's a little hard for people like me to start building that hope again, because I feel so hopeless.
Yes.
And I know there are a lot of people who feel hopeless. And I hope doing this that and more people coming on board, that we can convince them that if you get a good group of people together, it could happen.
Well, you asked me earlier why, what did you ask me? You asked me a question along the lines of, if I really believe that this...
If you believe in this wholeheartedly.
Yeah. When I put myself into something, I do it 100%. And I tell myself, we have two options right now that I know I will never, ever go back to. But I will never be one of those people who says, well, I have no options, so I just not vote. And I don't see that as being a responsible citizen. I don't see that as doing anything to advance our democracy, and I don't see that as being any fix. It's literally just washing your hands off of an issue that is still going to impact you at the end of the day.
Right.
Still going to have foreign exchange shortage, you're still not going to have water, crime is still going to be high, whether you vote or not. So why not get involved in something that may have? And to analyze the odds right now of PEP, some people, I get comments like, you're crazy, like you're coming here to split votes, and why do you think that you can make it? My answer is, what else can I do at this point? All I can do is one of two things: wash my hands of it and leave and stand back, or try and fail, or try and succeed. And I prefer those odds. At least in those odds, there's a chance.
I don't understand though why more people don't feel that way. PNM and UNC are not options for me. I mean, if you could. And I got off Facebook for 6 months because I couldn't continuously read the nonsense that I read. You are living with your head in the sand if you don't see what's going on.
Yeah.
You're either extremely wealthy, that you don't care and it does not affect you any which way, or you're extremely stupid, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah.
But if you are a person with half a brain, half an ounce of intelligence, how can you not see how these two parties have raped this country? I made a statement many years ago. I will never walk into Napa. Never. It will never happen. If anybody tells you they saw me in Napa, you could categorically say they lie.
Yeah.
Because an English friend who was a writer, a UK writer, came to Trinidad, and he was so appalled, as I was, when it was in the shall we do it stage, that we have a general hospital. And he wrote an article in the Observer, and he said something to the effect of, I am standing in one of the landmarks of Trinidad and Tobago, which is the Savannah. And literally I am looking at a performing arts building that there's no need for in Trinidad and Tobago. And yet if I turn 45 degrees, I'm looking at a dilapidated hospital that every day of my life I see and hear there's no medicine, there are no beds, there's no this, there's no that. It's how can anyone not be outraged at what we spend money on in Trinidad. I don't get it. I don't get it. And people tell me, you think you walking into Napa will make any difference? Not make any difference, but it's my gratification.
Do you think there's a disconnect between, and I saw it recently, someone posted something, I can't remember exactly, but someone was saying that we as Trinbagonians, we have formed a disconnect between the taxes that we pay every month and where it is being spent. And we repeatedly say it in the paper, this is your money, this is what you are working for, this is what you are paying these public servants, and I stress on the word servants, to do for you. And the fact that that people seem so disconnected, it's strange, because I know I feel it. I know every time I have to watch my salary, my pay slip, and I see that tax coming out, I get upset because I'm wondering, where is it really going?
But it's not only that. Not only is there a complete disconnect, but there's also a lot of ignorance. You are talking about seeing your paycheck and what comes out of it. Well, take your paycheck, see what comes out of it. Then take your grocery bill, see where that VAT goes. And then your airline ticket. An airline ticket actually to go to London now is Trinidad taxes are more than the actual ticket. Go on the checkout page and get a breakdown of your taxes. You would be horrified what you're paying in taxes. With us with clothing, somebody made a comment on the feed about my prices being outrageous. Well, I didn't bother to go into that. I deal in high fashion European clothing. I do not buy cheap Chinese crap and sell it for outrageous prices. People have such a disconnect in Trinidad that they don't understand in how many ways we are taxed. We are taxed in every single thing we do, we touch, every single thing. Airline tickets, entrance for this, the VATs, the you name it. I don't mind, Theoretically, I believe in paying taxes. But if I have nothing to show for those taxes, and I am living in a nation of 1.4 million people, and let's do some maths, which I am terrible at. Let's take out 500,000 for pensioners, children, the disabled, people who don't work. We're playing now with what? 900,000? No. All right? Let's say we're talking about 900,000 people. And for 900,000 people, we have not a proper transport system. We still can't get to Tobago, which blows my mind to pieces. We have a medical system that is a scandal. My mother died in 2008 and I flew up to Italy. And I can't lie, when I walked into the facility, which was massive, for 1 second, I thought, oh my God, what is this going to cost? For just 1 second, is your mother. It was like a 5-star hotel. That was their general hospital. I could eat off the floor. I had never seen anything, and I mean, I can go into an entire show what happened, because she was in a coma for a month, and what the doctors did for her, and etc. It was fascinating. Yet my only option is this general hospital in Trinidad and Tobago. Where my taxes go in? What do you have to show me? What can you show me to make me feel, okay, you know what? It's been worth it.
Yeah.
And I have no kids, so theoretically I shouldn't care. But for those of you who have children, how can you sit down and tolerate the wastage of money that we see on a daily basis? How many people are using this Manzanilla highway? We can't get to Tobago, but we want to build a highway to somewhere that 2% of the nation might use? It just, nothing makes sense to me. I mean, nothing. I need someone to sit down and tell me so that I can understand. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not understanding it. I don't understand how there's not outrage. People are outraged with crime in Trinidad. I am not. I don't understand how we don't have more crime. There's such a disparity of income on a level that is just blow mind to me that a multi-billion-dollar company can state what their pre and post profits are, and yet you are still paying someone $15 an hour to do a job. How is that right? You know? Sorry, don't get it. Don't get it.
When you mentioned just not seeing anything for the money and that we spend in taxes, I got into an argument, a discussion that turned into an argument. Yes, these days I'm arguing a lot with people because just like you, I don't understand how they are not seeing and questioning these things just like us. And I get angry because who do you ask these questions to, and who answers these questions? Who answers the question of why are we spending so much money on that same highway when we could have been fixing the roads that are dilapidated now? Why did we spend so much on a Couva hospital when all of our other hospitals are in a state of disrepair? Couldn't we have given those some attention first, rather than that hospital as just there doing nothing?
Who makes these decisions, and why do we keep on putting them in power?
Good question. Guys, tonight we are taking calls. If you want to call in, give your opinion on the topic that we're talking about. If you do want to ask Chantal any questions or myself, the number to call in is 769-4590. We'd be happy to hear from you. In the meantime, we will continue our discussion. I do want to touch on something here before, and I don't know if you're familiar with our policies. We do, well, hopefully, you know, after this, I do plan to try and bring you in a little more. I think you're a very strong woman, and the PEP needs people like you. Our number 13 and our 21 policies, and I'm going to read it out for those who don't know. Regulate the financial sector. Interest to be paid on depositors' funds at rates set by central bank. Last time I got any interest on anything that I deposited, it was around the tune of 10 cents.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's an indication of how much money I have in my account. But I look at that and I say, you know, at the end of the year, you get how much interest you made for me, and I laugh when I see it's like $3 or $4. I can't, interest to me is not even, I don't even consider that anymore.
Have you ever looked at the fees?
Well, that one, I definitely have a lot to say on that one. I can't. Oh, we're getting a call. Good night, miss.
Good night, and how are you?
I am good, Janice.
Oh, you know I have to call in.
Of course, yes.
Because having just experienced a medical situation, you know, and having to go through the hoop in order to get well, I think that my experience is worth a good mention.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to mention, Felicia, you have to call out the number again to your phone, because what I heard was 4990 instead of 4590.
Okay, I will.
Yeah? Okay, great. Miss Maundy.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Hope you're getting better.
Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, the doctor has given me 28 days sick leave, but I can't stick around in a room for 28 days. You know?
We could change places,
I
you know.
doing other things.
Janice is messaging us to come back to management meetings. I said, did you get a clearance from your doctor for that, ma'am? Don't be telling fibs, huh?
No, listen, I would be, you know, nothing, as she told me, no heavy lifting, no exertion, you know, don't try to run a 5-mile marathon, right? Just do what you have to do, and, you know, take things easy, take it light.
Yes.
Yes,
We need
definitely.
you back.
I'm really sorry I saw the video with Chantal and Philip sometime today, you know, where she was talking about the business and, you know, having to close and what's going on in the country. I know it's really, really sad to see what's going on right now. A lot of people are having to close their doors because they can't get the foreign exchange to buy the goods. And what I realize now is that a lot of people are going to China to purchase for their stores, which is very interesting.
Yes, but how are they doing that?
Right. Well, that's a good question, because obviously there's a method by which to do it. And if I recall correctly, there was a young lady who was offering her services to business people who wanted to do business in China. So she was, like a go-between with the various factories and so on. You just have to contact her, and she would set up everything for you and so on. That's how I believe it's being done.
No, but I don't mean that. I know how it's being done, but at the end of the day, I don't believe that China takes TT dollars. So we still come back to the problem of the currency.
Yes.
When I clear my goods, because I have had custom brokers who have ripped me off left, right, and center, because there's that ball going on all on its own. But when I started to clear my own goods, what I see in customs, I tell you, it's unbelievable. Containers and containers and containers of $1 and $2 items coming in from China. Just looking at the building that's being constructed in Marval is going to tell you the impact that the Chinese are going to have on Trinidad and Tobago just now. And I personally think that's something to be a little concerned about, but that's just me.
Correct. Well, I mean, if we look at the Cuba hospital, I think we are supposed to be paying them for that. They ain't get that for free.
Yeah, well.
So it's really sad. And I'm really hoping that a lot more of our citizens are waking up and really seeing what's going on and asking the questions that need to be asked.
Well, I think that we are calling myself we already as a pepper. I think that
you are Pepper.
I think that anybody has to start. Everyone has to start taking an interest in Trinidad and Tobago.
Correct.
I think that people have to understand the power that they have. Now, it frightens me, and I was actually thrown out. I think I was thrown out of a group, which was about. I think it's True Trinis discussing something, right? Now, at the end of the day, when I have come home and I'm frustrated because the bank has frustrated me and the mall has frustrated me and people have frustrated me, and I come home and I read something like 100 people posting about the size of chicken and the bad service at KFC, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. You are telling me that nothing that you read in the papers today concerned you enough to write about it, but the size of the chicken or the bad service or the girl shaking her head is what pissed you off today. And your biggest issue is KFC. So I had to say something. And when I said what I had to say, I came under some very heavy criticism. And I still maintain Trinis have learned to get their priorities in the right place. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say we have our priorities up our butt. And we need to change that. And we need to change that to young people as well. Educate young people. Get young people involved. Because I think a lot of people, friends of mine including, it's like flagging a dead horse. PNM till I die attitude. I'll never get it, but we all know people like that. But Trinidadians need to understand the power is in our hands.
Oh yes,
and that's something that we don't get. If you're concerned with KFC going up $3, guess what? Eat a blasted roti.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Show them one day. You want to raise it $3? Good. You're losing $2 million this month.
Correct.
But we don't get it.
No.
And we say it, we say we have the power, but nobody going to do it. And I ask everybody who say that, so why don't you do it?
Because the Trinis need, when this Me Too, changing topic for a little second, when this Me Too movement came in to the States, and then in Trinidad, everybody, Me Too, I absolutely refuse to be part of it, and I'll tell you why. I think it will be hard to find a woman who has not been sexually harassed in Trinidad and Tobago, right? Anywhere but in most in Trinidad and Tobago. I have always been very vocal about it. I have always been vocal about every issue I cared about. Now, if you need to have a issue to jump on a bandwagon, or you need to have a posse to jump on a bandwagon, then I have a problem with you. Because all the time when I open my mouth or I write on Facebook about the things and issues that bother me, I get heavily criticized for it. I can take criticism, that's not the problem. But when a movement starts and you start jumping up, me too, me too, me too, I have a problem with you, because 5 minutes later, the movement is forgotten and you have forgotten your thing. Where do you take it after that? You know, I always, Trinidadians want to tell me that they are informed people and they are interested. What I would love to see is, I'd love to see Carnival abolished for a year. Let us see I guarantee you we will have riots. Because that will make a Trini move. Nothing short of that will make a Trini move. Because if you at this stage in 2018 could still tell me about PNM and UNC, something wrong with the nation. Sorry.
Agreed. Janice, darling, thank you for calling in.
Not a problem,
I miss
anytime.
your voice, and I can't wait to have you back on the show.
I know.
And I hope I'm making you proud.
Working on it.
All right, darling.
Get better soon.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Don't forget the number to call in, 769-4590. So, we are going back to the topic that we were discussing, regulating the financial sector. This is number 13. This is one of our 21 policies. This greatly impacts the middle class because, like I was just saying, interest is something that we don't get anymore. But fees are something that we see every month. And I remember when I just noticed that Republic Bank, and that's one of who I bank with, was taking out $20 every month from my checking account. One, I didn't know that they had started doing that. According to them, when they called in, they had started to advertise. I
seem to miss all the ads
clearly,
as well.
I missed all the advertising. Now, when I'm on Facebook, I see ads from them all the time. Nothing said we are raising we are implementing a $20 fee.
What you see are the ads that says, come and get approved in 10 minutes for a mortgage.
Loan approved within 24 hours. And I remember they did one particular ad and they said, imagine how much you can save if you did XYZ. And my comment under it was, imagine how much I could save if you didn't take $20 out of my account every month.
Good for you.
Everybody ignored their post and came and liked my comment because it makes sense. They are taking way more from you than they are giving. You are literally paying them every month to hold your money. Your money.
I'll give you an example as a businesswoman who got into trouble. And where you get into trouble is that, so you have your business. Now, fashion is a thing that it has to keep on moving. I go to Paris 3 times a year to do my collections, and I do once a year my swimsuit collection. Because the economy worldwide has changed so much, credit in fashion is pretty much gone. You have to pay 30% up front. And remember, these are orders that if I place my order now, I get the order in about 9 months. So you're already out 30%. And you hope that you've chosen well and you hope that the sales are good. So when this issue of foreign currency started happening, a lot of people like me had to play catch up. How do we do this? So you put 30% on your credit card. You have to wait, hope sales are good in the meantime with the stock that you have. The goods arrive. We are taxed if you do things the right way and you don't buy the cases of champagne and the cases of scotch and etc. But if you do things legally, the fees are very high to clear goods. As I explained to Philip, when we have goods arrive, and let's say it's $100 of the value of the goods, we are not paying 20 and 25% duty on the $100. We have to pay on the insurance and the transport. I air freight. I don't sea freight. So we have to pay the duty on the goods, the transport, and the insurance. And then that figure is VATable. So the figure, we always ask, where does that hidden little percentage go?
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, so you start packing the things onto your credit card. And then they start stopping you stop getting They seize your card, not seize your card, if you know what I mean. They put a stop on it because you've been spending too much, in my case, euro, in many people's cases, US. So your goods haven't arrived, so your sales are not where they should be, right? Because you can't pay the rest of your things. So at one stage, I started looking at my credit card and I was paying $1,700 in interest a month. A month, besides the rest of the fees. And these are a lot of things that we, especially small businesses, especially businesswomen, don't really look at.
Yeah.
But if you start analyzing it, this country, I mean, this property tax issue, to me, is just like one more slap in my face. You know, it's impossible. And I don't know how the middle class is falling and collapsing. I am not going to go into my personal business, but I can tell you, I am in trouble. And so why are we so shocked that crime is what crime is when the middle class can't make? How on earth do you expect lower income people to make?
Yeah.
It defies logic.
We just missed a call from our national security advisor. Please feel free to call. No, that's okay. Please feel free to call back. I will take your call. In the meantime, I'm going to read our policy on regulating the financial sector. Abolish all banking fees not compliant with terms of banking license. I won't get into that now. Open the banking sector to international competition, definitely needed. Cap the spread on foreign exchange, definitely needed. The difference between the prices for buying and selling foreign exchange puts an unnecessary 10 to 13% tax on the economy. Capping it to under 3% will save billions of dollars lost to artificial inflation and profiteering. Black market for US now is a big... I remember when I walked into the airport and I saw the Forex place that they have there selling US for $8. And I was shocked.
Queues.
I was shocked. But it's happening, and it's happening clearly legally. Mm-hmm. Well, legally. And anyway, so Dilworth, if you are trying to call back, if you need me to call you, I know Dilworth actually wanted me to speak to you this week. He was one of the persons who saw the video, and he saw what it is you were going through. And like I said, you touched a lot of us. Not being a business owner had nothing to do with it. Being a Trinidadian, Trinbagonian, being in the same, almost said a bad word there, in the same bleep whole country, we are all vulnerable and exposed to this. And it doesn't matter if you're black or you're Indian or you're white or you're Chinese or you're Negro. Dilworth is calling back. Good night, sir. Hello? We're not getting through, so I will try to call you back, okay? Yeah. Doesn't matter your skin color. Once you're not a part of that group that is benefiting, you're obviously in trouble.
But I think, unfortunately, skin color plays a part in it. You know, I mean, I met an American black girl today who, ironically, saw the video, came into the boutique. And she started coming, she's arrived in Trinidad a year ago because she says that the racism in the States is just out of whack, right? And I said, sweetheart, well, you have landed in one of the most racist places I have ever been, and I have traveled a lot in my life with having 2 foreign parents.
Yeah.
And our racism is even more complicated because we don't see ourselves as one people. You know, we have the motto, the motto, and we have the flag, and under one flag and all this kind of thing. But the reality is there's more racism now than there ever has been before. There's such a disdain for both races, the 2 principal races in Trinidad and Tobago. And that's frightening to me because it ought to be getting better. It's getting better in every other part in the world. And in Trinidad, it just seems to be getting worse. What I see on Facebook as far as each party or race how they address each other is scandalous to me. You know, one of the comments by a young lady concerning the video was, I would never, Chantal, would never be concerned about this economy if I wasn't a red want-to-be white girl, you know. And I broke my own promise to myself that I wasn't going to answer anybody. And I did, because I told her, you're barking up the wrong tree. Don't bring that racism crap by me. I don't want to hear it. I don't care what color you are. Speak intelligently and I'm willing to listen. If you think that for some reason PEP is wrong or has bad values or wrong values in one area, talk. Let's talk.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. I get vexed with Philip. Sorry, Philip. I get vexed with Philip because I don't agree with 100% of what he says. But as I told him, you know, I am on the verge of two things. I'm on the verge of three things. Either we need to get UNC and PNM out, or we need to beg the Queen to take us back, or I need to get out of Trinidad. Because I can't do this anymore. Forget my business. That's not what we're talking about. I can't do this anymore. I cannot see races at each other's throat. I can't see racism getting worse and worse on a daily basis. I asked a man very politely the other day. Okay, I've now learned to shut.
Hello, good night, caller. You are live. Thank you for calling in the front line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Felicia. This is Dilbert.
Hi, Dilbert. Oh, so you got us on the... We're hearing you loud and clear now.
All right, great. So I just wanted to call in briefly. First of all, good evening to all our viewers, and in particular, I want to officially welcome Chantal to Pepperland.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's don't ignore it anymore. Just give in. You're a pepper. You are a pepper. What I wanted to briefly, because I don't want to tie up the line so that other callers can call in. What I wanted to speak to real quickly is the point that Chantal made regarding the erosion of the middle class. And the point that she made in connection with that being that if the middle class are hurting, what do you leave, like you said, for folks who are not as fortunate, the lower income individuals?
Yeah.
And it's linked inadvertently to the crime statistics, as we said. If we have people who for the most part have, you know, some measure of sustainability with regard to their income, struggling, and then the lack of policy, the lack of regulation, the lack of a plan for Trinidad and Tobago, then obviously the people who are less fortunate are going to have less opportunities to make an income to support themselves and their family.
Absolutely, and total hopelessness. Total hopelessness. How does a man, I met a man who works in Long Circular Mall, who has been working with Long Circular for 20 years, and he makes $5,400 a month. How does a man sustain a family like that? When he sees the CEOs of companies driving and changing their BMWs and Mercedes-Benz every 2 years. You know, and then you wonder why there's crime.
Exactly. And when normal thinking people who are struggling recognize the disparities, and like you said, perfect point. They look around and they see the people that they work for, they see the politicians, they see the businessmen who we know for a fact are directly connected to the government. Their contracts are almost guaranteed, and they're living high and high on the hog, and the ordinary man on the street need to suffer based on lack of government policy. That's why the Progressive Empowerment Party, our focus is to provide hope and opportunity. If people are granted the opportunity to get a step up in life, government policy. Number one, the policies, each and every policy that you see that the government of Trinidad and Tobago has, the present and the past government have or don't have. The policies are not rooted in how can this policy affect everyone, across the board, with a view to leveling the playing field, with a view to raising the standard of living of every Trinidadian, then the policy is flawed from the beginning.
Yeah.
And we have to get back to that place where we are concerned about every single individual. I don't understand how the 1%ers, and I think it goes to the post that I posted recently. These people are prepped. If this thing falls apart, if it fails, they are prepped and ready to hop on a plane and leave.
Of course.
Okay?
Of course.
The average man can't get away. They know that it's not sustainable. They know that if they drain, if they extract through taxes and horrible policies, they continue to extract the little bit of income that folks have. It's not a sustainable policy, and it's going to fall apart, and we are going to end up like Venezuela.
We are going to.
We're going to end up like all the poor countries in the world. People, I just don't get it that the powers that be don't understand that income, revenue, apart from the oil and the gas, and we could talk about that all day long because we need to diversify, but if the public purse is not able to be fed by the people of the land, how on earth are we going to survive?
Absolutely. You know, but if
So
the people...
that's my point. I just wanted to add that, and let me just reiterate again. Welcome to Pepperland. You are a pepper. Have a good night. I'll free up the line to give other people the opportunity to call.
Thank you for calling, Elvis. On point as always.
All right, bye. Thank you.
I mean, he said it. If we feeling it here, and we are the so-called middle class, what are they feeling? What are the people who don't have the opportunities experiencing? And you said it. That no wonder people turning to crime.
People criticize me a lot for saying it. I am shocked, and I know I'm going to get pumped for this. I'm shocked crime is not higher. I really am, because a lot of the crime that you see, a lot of the crime that exists in Trinidad, I don't have the statistics, so theoretically I shouldn't say this, but I believe a lot of the crime is associated with the drug trade still, the guns, territorial, gangs, etc. Jamaica, however, you could walk down the road and get shot just like that.
Yeah.
It is happening in Trinidad too, but not at the level that it is happening in Jamaica. But we are going to get to that stage. When you tell a grown man, grown woman, that there's no hope, you don't understand the depth of despair that person goes through. And yet you see everyone else seem to be prospering, that in my view, crime pays in Trinidad, and it pays big.
It does.
So why not become part of it? And to change an entire nation's mindset is going to be extremely hard. That is why I think that PEP has it's an uphill. You have to first change the mindset, you know. Look, people, if you don't like the policies, if you don't like the man himself, you don't like something about it, cool, vote him back out. That's our right. But we have to understand that we need to give somebody else a chance. UNC hasn't done it, and PNM has not done it. It boggles my mind how that is just not understood, you know.
I know you're going to be amazed at this, but we only have 5 minutes left for
Oh,
this
gosh.
show. Yes, this hour, it passes and people are like, oh, it's been an hour already. We have enough time to take one more call if anybody wants to call in. 769-4590, that's the number. Chantal, every week we have guests who come on the show and we touch on different topics. We discussed healthcare last week. The week before that we discussed agriculture. And it boils down to one, it's always the same point that we reiterate, which is that with everything that we touch on, clearly things aren't working.
Clearly.
It's falling apart, and I don't run around and say the sky is falling. I'm not all doom and gloom, but to be ignorant to the fact that things around us are getting worse, to be ignorant to that fact, I think it's irresponsible.
I think the perfect word.
It's
Perfect
very
word.
irresponsible, and that mindset thing that you talk about, it's really an uphill battle. And when we have our Saturday meetings and people come in and they debate and they ask questions, I feel I'm getting a call from New York. This would be our final call for the night. Hello, good night. You are live on the front line.
Hello, good night, Felicia. Good night, Chantal. This is Ali.
Hi, Ali.
Hi.
Hi. Chantal, I just want to say that I commend you for speaking out.
Thank you.
Because, you know, you have to be a woman of integrity and a woman of strength to say what you said in that video, and also to come tonight to expose your business to a certain extent, but generally to show the light to Trinidad and Tobago what is happening with small business owners.
Thank you.
What I would like to add to this conversation is the fact that, you know, you made a very poignant contribution about, you know, when the middle class is failing or crumbling, what about the man below? Now, the social services in Trinidad and Tobago is next to non-existent. And when you think about a country not having a safety net to catch people who are falling, it points to crime once again.
Absolutely.
Now, this is something that is very near and dear to me because, you know, that's the sector that I work in out here in the U.S. And what I'd like to say is that too many people are living below the poverty line. And when a business like yours closes down, what people fail to realize that people who work for you, the workers, lose jobs.
Right.
So in an economy where it's hard to find work, and a store job is what balances the scale for some people because they don't know anybody. You know, they're just a regular person looking to make a dollar to take care of their family.
Yeah.
It's a domino effect. So you're out of business, and your workers are out of business, and you know the dollar is not circulating in the community. And we need to understand that when we talk about politics as a pep-up, people tend to say everything to you is politics. I tell them politics is everything.
It is.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be long because I know you all have to close off. And like Dilwood said, welcome to Petland. we embrace you and we welcome you because you are a Petland. Good night, Chantal. Good night, Felicia.
Night,
Good
night.
night, Ali.
Thanks.
To the viewers who are not familiar now, Chantal, she has been a pepper before. I met you in the same office space. Chantal came in and she had a back and forth with Philip, and I said, any woman who can debate with Philip is a strong woman. I remember that is how I remember you. And seeing you on this video on Monday just reinforced the fact that you are and I know we seem like we kind of probably hugging it too tight right now, but when we find strong people who are willing to speak the truth, even though it's a painful truth, even though it's a scary truth, even though it's a truth that would piss off and anger other people, it's people like you that we hold on to, because it's not, you said it earlier, how do we motivate the people? It's not often that you can get those willing to stand up and say out aloud.
It's so important that we do stand up, because I mean it's not going to improve if we don't speak out.
It isn't.
You know.
Right. At this point, I would like to thank you so much
you for
for
having
coming
me.
in, Chantal. Listen. When I found out Janice was not coming back this week, I thought, what are we going to touch? And there were so many things. We had the SEA, we had the Maxi Coffee coming back.
We didn't touch on that one.
We didn't touch on that one. But that live that happened on Monday, I think it was the catalyst to this show and us building a team of people who are willing to be just as open and probably contribute, which is what we need. We need people who are willing to help us build this. This is a lot of hard work. And I really appreciate you
Thank
taking
you.
the time to come out.
Thank you.
At this point, I would like to remind everybody, Janice, I'm not doing your lovely little speech. When you come back, you can take full control over that. But I would like to remind everybody that we are always looking for volunteers. We have our constituency executives. If you want to be a caretaker in your constituency, we are always looking for people who are willing. Come on board. We meet every Saturday at 12 noon. We are there again this Saturday, the 5th of May, at our headquarters, 19 Sanmo Avenue. Do come down, come here. This is the chance to meet everybody. We are not a one-man party. I need to stop saying that because then they will start to read. We are not a one-man party, and we are very open to discussion. We are very open to debates, and we are open to anybody, any like-minded Trinbagonians who just want better and who are fed up of the options that we have. So again, Trinidad and Tobago, thank you for tuning into the Frontline.
Thank
It's
you.
very encouraging every week to see the numbers going up. Just remember to keep sharing the video and be safe. Good night.
Good night.